being a very senior officer in Germany.
Was that after you qualified as an accountant?
Oh, years and years and years after that.
How old were you?
How old am I?
No, how old were you when you were in Germany?
Well, the first time I was in Germany was, I suppose it was, must have been when I was doing my national service, I suppose.
And you did your national service after becoming qualified as an accountant?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so you must have been in your late 20s?
Yeah, well, I was in my 20s, certainly. And my second year I was an officer, and I was sent to Germany, and I was getting sent to an RAF station, and I hoped I was going to get something to do with aviation, not the flying of course, but anyhow. So they made me the station cashier. So I had 2,400 customers
Wow.
to look after. And so that was quite interesting.
So you were doing all the payrolls and all of the...
I was in charge of all that, yes. I had a staff.
How big was your staff?
What?
How big was your staff?
Well, I can't remember. It was probably about 8 to 10 people. I can't remember now.
Wow.
But then, when I was in Germany, it was far more than that, because I was in charge of the entire payment arrangements for the whole staff, everybody.
What, everybody in Germany?
And everybody in that station.
On that station?
In that area. There was over 2,000 people.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, yes, and I must have told you my stories about being in Germany.
Well, I seem to remember vaguely that you got into a brawl at some point.
A ball?
No, a brawl, a fight.
Oh, that was different. That was much earlier.
What happened?
Oh, it was just a fight. I can't remember now. It wasn't anything serious.
I thought it was where a couple of people were being idiots.
Oh, that was yes. That's something. Yes, that was when I was an RAF officer, and 2 other RAF officers misbehaved seriously.
Well, tell me, how do they misbehave?
Damage was caused because I can't remember now. Oh, I know. There was a drinking session one evening, and I, like I said, many other sensible people, decided to go to bed. And they said, "Come on, Mike, have another drink." So I said, "No, thanks, I'm going to bed." "Oh, come on." So I said, "No, really, I must go to bed." And so they tried to grab me. I got away. Went back to my room. I was a very junior officer at that time. I was a flying officer or something. And I heard stamping coming down this corridor. Have I not told you this story?
I don't remember any stamping.
And when I had said good night to them, I thought I better lock my door, which I did. And then I heard them coming along the corridor, and this was our room was upstairs, this one, and I said the door was shut, so I just ignored it when they came and knocked on the door. So they started bashing on the door. So eventually they bashed it down. So I said, and then having done that, in the course of that, it broke down the wash basin, and water was shooting out across the room, right across the room, and nobody could get at the stopcock because it was in a cupboard or something, and so it went on spraying water for about 3/4 of an hour, and the most terrible mess. And in the end, it was all. I was soaked, but certain other people were soaked, and when they when it was stopped, they all said they buggered off, these two characters, and when so of course I managed to find another room, and I went to make that my bedroom in for the night, and went in there and settled down. But the first thing I did, of course, was to think of what was going to happen the following morning. So I sat down and wrote a report on the whole thing, you see. And then the next morning, I went to, I was at my office desk at 8 o'clock, and then these two fellows came in, and one of them had a black eye, and the other had his arm in a sling. And I thought, I wonder what they've been up to. So I said, have you come to apologise? I said. Apologise? They said. We've come to get our apologies from you. So I said, well, you're joking. So I said.
Well, who'd given them the black eye?
Yes.
You had?
Because I'd given them the black eye, they'd felt badly about it.
Oh, so when they broke into your room, you gave one of them a black eye and put the other...
I'd done that, yes, the night before.
It was you who did that to them, right?
And then they came, and I said, well, I think you'd better go and see the station commander about all that damage. They said, well, don't be daft. They said, you're responsible for that. So I said, okay. At that stage, I went to see the station commander. And I said, okay, morning. He said, morning, Mike. So I said, morning, sir. I said, I've come to give you a report. I'd like you, please, to read this. And he read this report. And as he was reading it, he was going, oh, it was you, Mike, was it? Because he knew about the damage, but he didn't know who had done it, you see. So I said, well, I'm afraid so, sir. He said, don't worry, Mike, leave it to me. But anyhow, the others, they got large bills. I was just about finishing my service. About 3 days later, I was going home out of the service, and he said, oh, don't worry about that. He said, I'll see to it. And they apparently had to pay all the costs of repairs. But in the short time between that happening and my going home, there had been many occasions when I was in a mess with the others, talking and so on. They were all buying me drinks.
Oh, these two were popular, were they?
Yeah, apparently. The other two chaps, apparently, I hadn't realised, were distinctly unpopular with a large number of people. All the other officers knew who I was. We all knew one another, and when it finally came to going home, the officer in command of one of the other sections laid on his wagon to take me to the station, to the airport, or wherever it was. I don't know. I can't remember now. And so that was there, and I never heard anything further. But
you've still got your uniform, haven't you?
I think so, most of it, yes.
I've seen a
it's in there somewhere.
in that pink cap in that cupboard.
Yes. And so it was it was all the burden. They got the bills. They had to do it all. And
So I'm just trying to piece this together. You said that you became of eligible age to fight in the war 1 week after the war ended,
no,
but then you didn't.
no, no. When the war ended, I was still at school.
And what was the age for enlistment?
Well, the age was as soon as you
Left school.
left school,
Yeah.
unless you had something else to do in between.
Even during the war?
I'm talking about after the war.
No, but I was thinking that the war ended just before your birthday, didn't it?
Let me think. Yes, probably. Yes, yes.
And then, but you then didn't need to do your national service until after you'd been to Cambridge, and then done your accountancy exams.
That's right.
Right.
Yes. It was, and then later, of course, I was back in the services, doing my national service, and the second year of that, because I'd qualified as an officer, I was sent to Germany and became the officer in command of all the cash on this fighter squadron.
Ah, as a fighter squadron. Where was that?
It was in the north of Germany at a place called you wouldn't know the name, I'm afraid, but I can't remember the name now myself. But,
Oh, not to worry.
I don't know. Anyhow, what I do remember is that while I was there at the commanding officer, this was much later, of course, at this station, somehow or other, my name became known to the local village aviation enthusiasts, and so somehow they got hold of me, and I was invited to go to their village opening, and I was invited to bless their first aeroplane that they had in the village.
Was that for gliding?
Yes, it was just started gliding, yes.
And they knew you were a glider pilot already?
That's what that was why they called me.
Ah, fantastic. And you started gliding when you were at Cambridge, or was it before that?
At Cambridge, yes. Oh well, it was